Hello, second graders. Mr. Wojcik here. You're going to make a video game using Scratch. So the first thing you're going to do is when you open up Scratch, you're going to get the default cat on your screen. So just put that cat into the garbage. And now I have the ball. So I'm going to search for a character. And the ball is actually in the second row, first one. So then I click on that. Now I have two balls actually, but you can go into costumes and you can change the color of that ball or customize that color to your own color. And I believe I showed you how to do that last time we talked about Scratch in the classroom. So I have a purple ball again. I'm going to change it to blue. I'm going to actually get rid of that ball because I already have my purple ball here. And then you're going to find the paddle. So I'm going to go to choose a sprite again. I'm going to type in paddle, P-A-D-D-L-E, and click on the paddle, and there's my paddle. And again, you could customize the paddle if you wanted by changing the colors. And I can move this paddle anywhere I want, and that's what I did with this paddle down here, is I moved it to the position I wanted it to. So I'm going to get rid of that paddle. And I have my paddle here that I originally had. I can choose any background I want. So I have just a plain blue background, but if I wanted to play my game in this game type setting, this square, that's kind of cool. I want to change the color of my ball to make it easier to see. But again, you can change your backdrop to any backdrop you want. It doesn't have to be just to whatever you think you want it to be. So it could be this activity too. So I'm going to go back to my blue screen here. There we go, blue sky. So I lost my red line down at the bottom of my blue screen. So I'm just going to get that back right away. So I'm going to go to backdrops. I'm going to, actually it might be there already. Yep. So I'm going to show you how to put that red line into your backdrop. So I'm just going to click on my shape. It doesn't have to be red. It could be whatever color. And I'm going to start out, you can make it as thick or skinny as you want. I'm going to go about that thickness there. And then to change the color, go to fill. I'm just going to bring it all the way, all three of them, all the way over. So it's red. You can change it to any color you want. But there's a reason I changed it to red. So you'll see that in just a little bit. So that should automatically change to red after I click off that screen or anywhere on the side here, which it did. So now I can click on code again, and now I'm ready to code. And my backdrop does not need any code. I could add code to it. I think I showed you how to do that in the past when we built our names, but you would have to play around with that and change that. Or I could switch my backdrop colors if I wanted to. So there's all kinds of things you can do to change your backdrops while you're playing this game. So you can be very creative in this. So I'm going to start creating code in the ball, and I already have everything here. But what I'm going to do is recreate it so you can see exactly what blocks to get. So I'm creating the position or where the ball is going to start when the game starts. So I'm going to go get a green flag, and here we go, events block, green flag. I'm going to have the ball start at 20 y-axis, x-axis, and 150 y-axis. And let's see here. And right now it says 97 minus 44. And that's easily changed. And you could just move your ball around wherever you want. And oops, you can move the ball around wherever you want. And you can see these numbers change. Now it's minus 30, 33. If I go over here, now it's 101, 39. So I can change it to wherever I want. Or I can just simply type in the number. So I'm just going to type in the number 20 and 150. And when I set that, the ball is going to be right up here somewhere. All right, and then I'm going to have the ball point in the direction of 45. And the reason I'm doing that is when the ball points in the direction of 90, it's going to go just straight across. And it's not going to go down to hit my paddle. If I hit it or change it to 45, let's see here, 45. Now you can see my ball is going to start up and go to an angle. And it's going to hit this top part here and then bounce down on an angle. So you can change that angle to whatever you want, but right now that's what I'm going to keep it as. And now I'm going to do my loop of forever, my control blocks. And if the ball is on the edge, and what that means, if it touches the edge anywhere on my screen, the three edges, it's going to bounce. So if on the edge, it will bounce. I'm going to find that block. If on the edge, bounce. And then it's going to move 15 steps. And that might be too fast at first for you. So you might want to change that number down to 10. That's going to make the ball slower. 20 will make it faster and the game more difficult. So that's just something that you can play around with that number and change it down to 5 if you want the ball to move really slow, so you can move your paddle around anywhere quicker to get to that ball, so wherever it's going. Again, the higher the number, the faster the ball will go and the harder the game will be. So that's your first block. That is going to make the ball move. And just going to click the green flag. So there we go. And you see it moves pretty fast. Now it is hitting the red line and stopping, and that is by design. That is doing that for a reason. If that was not there, if I took that off, then the ball will just keep going. So it's hitting all the edges, and it's just bouncing. Okay, so that is the first block. Also, you can tell I have a sound block here. All right, so that is the first step in creating your game. The next step in creating your game would be to sense that the ball is going to touch the paddle, because you want the ball to touch the paddle. Obviously, that's the game in Pong, is not let the ball hit the red line. All right, so that's a little hard. I barely got that one. But anyway, so I'm going to stop that. So I'm going to create this block for you. And I'm going to go to control again. So this is my second control or events block, sorry. In my second events block, actually, I'm going to go back and get rid of this so my computer program doesn't get confused. And I'm going to get my forever block in the controls. And now this is something that we have not used before. It's called an if-then statement. So if my ball touches the paddle, so if the ball touches the paddle, then it's going to make a sound, boing sound. You can change that sound to any sound you want. And then it's also going to turn to a random number. So my ball is going to rotate, and it's going to turn to a 160-degree rotation to a 200. So it's going to be random in that number. So the angles are different every time it hits that paddle. And you can change that number and design it any way you want. But that's just what I have. And you can start at that point and then change it, your degrees, to anything you want. And then that ball is going to move 15 steps. And the ball is going to move at the 15-step speed. Again, you can change that number to make the ball slower by going down to 10 or 5 and to really slow. 5 would be really slow. And if you want to go faster, then that ball is going to turn even faster at a quicker rate and make that more difficult to hit that ball a second time with your paddle. So it depends on how quickly or how difficult you want to make the game. I would just keep the numbers low and then increase them as you get better when playing this game. So notice this is I don't know what color that is. That's a kind of a bluish gray, I don't know. And that is in the sensing area. So I'm going to find touching paddle or touching. And right now it says touching mouse pointer. And because we have the paddle out there, you're going to see paddle automatically. So you're just going to change that to paddle and put that into the if-then statement just like that. So forever, if the ball touches the paddle, I'm going to make a sound, and I can change that sound to whatever I want. Automatic sound is pop. Oops. Start sound, pop. You do not want to play it until done. You want to stay start sound, because then it's just going to be a quick sound. When it's until done, it could be a really long sound. That sound could take a long time to play. So you just want to say start pop, and it's going to end it real quick. So there's all kinds of sounds you could make, and you could even record your own sound. Now I'm going to go to turn, and I need a turn block with an oval. And that is in the blue. So I need to turn 15 degrees. I could turn it the opposite way. It just depends on how you want to play your game. I'll just keep the same turn block to make it simple. And now I'm going to go to an operator because I want that to be a random number. So I'm going to click on my operations. I'm going to pick a random number. And again, that number can be anything you want. But again, it's just good to start just kind of at the same numbers I have so you can see how the ball reacts. And then move a motion block, move 10 steps automatically is what it comes down to, but I have 15. And again, you can change that to whatever you want. So that second coding block is finished. So you can change the ball, what happens to the ball when it hits the paddle. So again, you can change these numbers here to see what different reactions you can get from that with that ball. So there we go. So that is the second block. I'm going to get rid of that because I already have it made. And I'm going to scoot this over here. You do not have to add notes, but that's always helpful so you can understand what all these blocks do. So just to do that, you can right click or hold down on your block. And it says, let's see here. Where is my, there we go. It does not give me a chance to do a comment block. Oh, there, add a comment. Yeah, so this one, remove comment. I guess you can always only add one comment per block. So each block could add its own comment, I guess. So this block is already commented for the whole thing, but you could comment on each block if you wanted to explain what it does. Kind of neat. All right, next would be the last block for the ball in this part of the program. And then we have to program the paddle, which is very easy. So we're going to go to a when clicked block again. So we're going to go to events block when the green flag is clicked. And we're going to get to a forever block in the controlled menu. And you're going to get an if then block. So if the ball is touching the red, so if the ball senses it's touching the red, everything's going to stop. That means the game's over. So your game is over and you have to restart it by clicking the flag. So I'm going to get my if then. Go into my bluish gray sensing blocks. So then we go if touching color, and this one is automatically green. I have to change that color. Just click on it, and then to get to red, I'm just going to put these all over to the edge. So I know it's the same exact color, and that's why I did it that way. You would have to match up your numbers here for each one to be for the exact color. Otherwise, your game's not going to work. So you would have to, if you wanted a different color, that's fine. You just have to match up these two those numbers with this color. So whatever color this is, you would have to match up those numbers. That's why I just went all the way over to this side here. If you want it to be a black line, you could go all the way this way and just have it be black. Okay, so it's up to you what color you want it, but red or black is the easiest. So that's the reason I did it that way. Stop all, and that's going to be in your control block down towards the bottom, and everything's going to stop if that ball hits the red line. So the ball part of the game is finished. So that everything's programmed for this ball to work. Now, there's no score in this game. So you could make a score, a scoring block up here. That involves creating a my block, and that's a little bit difficult right now at this point, and we're not going to do that here in second grade. But if you want to experiment or research or search how to score points in Scratch, there are definitely some videos out there to do that. Next, I'm going to click on the paddle, and there's just one block for the paddle. So I'm in my paddle coding. So it says just when clicked. So my green flag is clicked, the game starts, and my block is going to have just a green flag event. It's going to go forever, and it's going to set the mouse to X, which means I'm going to control this with my mouse or your mouse pad. So I have a mouse I'm using, so it's a little easier to control. You're going to use your finger and your mouse pad to control the block. You don't have to, or the paddle. You don't have to click anything. All you have to do is just move your finger back and forth, and that should control the paddle. And I'm going to get set X to mouse X. So I have to get that in the blue. That's towards the bottom. Set, where is it at here? Set X to set X, and now I'm going to go back to my bluish gray, and I'm going to get mouse X. There we go. And that's going to be left and right is what you're controlling. And I can move this anywhere I want. So if I want the paddle way up high, I can do that, and it's still going to control that. So that mouse. Let me try it. There we go. A little harder to do it up there. So I'm going to stop it. There we go. But you probably want this paddle pretty close to the red line. It doesn't have to be right on top of it. It could be, I suppose, right on top of it if you want. So right above it is where I'll put it to leave a little bit of space there. All right, I'm going to press start. Oh, and it was moving kind of fast for me. There we go. You can see the angle that ball randomly changes every time it hits that paddle. And again, you can change that. Ooh, that's a sharp one. You can change that if you want. And the game will keep going until, ooh, it barely got that one, until the ball hits the red line. When the ball hits the red line, the game is over. Now you just created your first game in Scratch. And your moms and dads probably will have played Pong sometime in their lives as a kid. So they'll probably smile when they see you playing this game. And you can say, now they've played the game, but you actually created the game to play it. Kind of cool. All right. Have a great day. That's all I have. We'll go over this again in class when I see you in distance learning, but hopefully at some point we'll be teaching you this in class for hybrid. Have a great day and stay safe.